Right, this video is going to cover improved walking. Most of us, when we run or we walk, we don't realize it, but we actually plant our heel down on the floor and we have a long forward stride ahead of us. So I'm going to just demonstrate. Anything that goes out in front of your body with a heel plant means that we are applying a braking force. All right, so we are stopping our body, we're impacting through the skeletal system, and we are effectively loading the knee joint and the hip joint. So hip joints and knee joints that are deteriorating when we get older could have been caused from bad movement patterns. The first thing we're going to do now is we're always going to think tall. Doesn't matter whether we run or whether we walk, we want to think tall, okay? In a previous video I did, we're not going to think hinging at the hip. This is incorrect. We're going to think lean. So we lean from the ankle. We're still tall, but we lean from the ankle, not that we hinge at the hip. Right, so we need ankle flexion. We're going to start with an ankle pedal. I'm going to keep my hands on my hips because the whole point is we don't want lateral movement of the hips. So I'm going to start with a normal ankle pedal. So what I'm doing is I'm driving my heels up and placing the pressure on the balls of my feet, and I'm checking that my hips aren't tipping too much left and right. This will just take quite a lot of practice. That's why we are relearning how to walk, and this could also transition into running. So that's the first movement, bringing the heel off the ground, loading into the ball of the foot and onto the big toe. Second one is that we're going to do a wipe of the mat, of the floor. So we want to learn to take our foot in a backwards direction, not in a forwards direction. So we're going to just sweep the floor as though we're wiping our feet on the floor mat. Same again, we want to try and keep the hips level. Sweep, and as you can see, the kick is coming behind. Behind. Nothing's gone out in front of the body yet. So the next one we're going to do is a leg kick. All right, so the leg kick is that the calf muscle is going to try and come up and meet the hamstring. So if I'm standing here, I want to bring my leg up into this position. Kick it up, kick it up, kick it up. So it's not a knee drive, it's an up and an up. So calf muscles trying to meet hamstring. I'm trying to tuck it deep into my hip here without it going out in front of the body. Then the next one is the heel touch. So by placing the hands behind my body, staying nice and tall, I'm going to try and get my heels to find my fingers. This would be equivalent to a butt kick. Quite difficult. I don't have good flexibility in my impacted knee, my right knee. So if my movements don't look perfect, it's because I have these imbalances myself, which I have to work on correcting. Right, now we're going to do the slight walk forward with the heel lift. So when we walk, we always want to think about, we're trying to get chewing gum off the base. We're trying to get our heel off maybe chewing gum stuck on the floor. So start with one foot in front. The back heel is going to ride up. So we're going to pull the chewing gum off the floor. And then we're just going to drag the foot and place it in front. So it's a flat landing. So heel up, flat landing, heel up, flat landing, heel up. I'm going to walk towards the camera. Hopefully you can still see this. Right, so the back heel drives up and I plant the foot. So I'm trying to get you to feel how we're driving off the ball of the foot and the big toe. That's what's actually propelling us forward. Okay, so I'll come from further back. Start with one foot in front. We want to have a very narrow stance. Right, so back heel drives. It plants that foot. There's always a ball and a big toe on the floor. Ball and a big toe on the floor. Watch that the hips are not tipping left and right. So when you start to perfect that movement, your whole walking pattern will improve. Now we're going to do it as a foot, the swiping of the foot, but this is going to be with a forward motion. So I'm going to wipe the feet as I move towards you. As you can see, not at any point have my legs gone out in front of me. Okay, so it's a swipe. I'm pushing as though, you watched your dog when it's finished doing its business, it kicks backwards. So that's the motion that you've got. Okay, now the arm action is a backwards movement. So if we're running, if we're walking, we shouldn't be transferring the arm out in front. The minute we transfer an arm out in front, the legs will want to track the same, the opposite leg. The arm action is a backwards motion. So we want to just do a gentle swipe backwards. So when you're walking, you want to think sweep back, sweep back, sweep back, sweep back. So it's a backwards motion, it's a backwards foot motion, and everything's going to transfer the body forward. We don't want any of this action. So if I walk towards the camera, I'm going to sweep back, sweep back, sweep back, sweep back. I've got that natural forward lean. I'm not leaning from the hip. My hips are not tipping left and right. My arms are pushing backwards, which means my shoulders are tall. So really important that this is the motion that we're looking for. If we're running, it's the same motion. Driving backwards. Okay, so when we start to walk normally now, we want to think tall, we want to make sure our head is level and we're looking down the road, not down at our feet. And we want to just walk nice and light. So if you're thinking tall and you're walking light, you almost can't feel any load through your knee joints or through your ankle joints or through your hip joints. I hope this is going to help you with your general walking patterns.